This is the last of the 4 super full moons we've had since August 19th. It marks both the ending and the beginning of a new world we haven't seen or experienced before. And this full moon in Taurus summons us to face the mirror and sit with the reflections of our individual and collective faces. This full moon is particularly important for integration, especially for your 5th chakra with the root chakra, your 1st chakra. I will go into this more in detail later in this video. This moon cuts through the jargon, deception, separation, and pretending we all play a part in, and reveals what reflections we need to face right now. And keeping our eyes closed and pretending not to hear the cracks and shifts happening all around you is coming to an end. And if you've been wanting to keep living life the same old way you've always lived, this is also coming to an end with this full moon. In light of the US election, whether you are thrilled and excited or in shock and in deep mourning or even fear, one thing is for certain: the US and the world are deeply divided. However, this super full moon unexpectedly offers a unifying opportunity to see how separation and division within each of us has contributed to this highly divided world, and ultimately come together for a much needed reset. This video is a bit longer than usual, but it's important that you watch all the way to the end. So I hope you can do that. This full moon in particular reflects back to us this political, social, and economic reality that currently exists in our day-to-day life on this earth. It holds a polished mirror for us. Moonlight, unlike sunlight, allows us to look directly into its reflection, and this is exactly what we are being asked to do this full moon. In many of my past videos, I have been encouraging all of us to know our own limitations and get real with ourselves and the world we occupy. And I can't help it but to see how this full moon will further reveal both our internal and external divisions. We do live in a divided world inside and out right now. And as strange as this may sound to you right now, accepting this reality as it is for now may help us find unity and a united world sooner. It's worth noting here that we are not simply passive witnesses to this political division and separation. For example, in our day-to-day, we also allow fragmentation and divisions to influence our decisions by accepting opinions of specialists, special interest groups, and so-called experts to tell us what is good for us, what we should believe, and how we must think. And all the while, we're further removed from our own inner knowing and inner guidance. And I wonder, sometimes perhaps we do this in order for us to not get kicked out of the tribe. And, most recently, Chris, my husband's dad, was telling us that he takes this one medication that is causing him to have many side effects. And he basically said he is just taking them to keep his doctor happy. And this was his direct quote. To me, there's no denying that all the division and separation happening politically and globally also happens inside our physiological and biological realm. This is the universal law of as above, so below. We have been dissecting, compartmentalizing, and siloing our own interconnected quantum biology, psychology, and spirituality, and so much more, preventing that parts from communicating and healing together with our whole organism of body, mind, and spirit. We say we are this wholeness and that we are made of interconnected, inseparable networks and energy fields, but we continue to separate the mind from the body and the body from the spirit, when in fact they are one system and we can't exist without all of them. But we continue to follow a medical system that hyper specializes in different systems and organs and separates our bodies into smaller and seemingly disconnected pieces. We go to cardiologists for a heart condition. We go to endocrinologist for our hormones, dentist for our oral health, and you go to a hematologist for your liver conditions, when in fact they are all connected. When one system struggles, the whole being suffers. No wonder we have co-created a world that is also utterly divided and fragmented. And this is why this last super full moon of the year is extraordinarily important to us to face our own internal divisions, once again and use all our tools and years of practices to begin the process of unification. So my recommendation is to start with you. If you're noticing that the world around you, the communities around you are being divided and separated, look no further than yourself, face the mirror and see how divided you have started to treat yourself, or you have been treating yourself so separately between the body, mind, and spirit, and see what you can do to begin the unification process within yourself. I plan to offer a free live call in the coming weeks around this topic and the reflections on the US election results, including also I want to reflect on the Japanese election that we just had recently as well. So if you would like to receive notifications on this live call, please join my email list. I have included the link below, so check that out. This full moon is particularly important for integration, especially for the mind, body, and spirit. Also, because this is a Taurus full moon, I encourage everyone to integrate your fifth chakra, so your throat, your thyroid, neck, your voice, with that of your first chakra, feet, legs, pelvic floor, lower spine, large intestine, anus, and rectum. During this full moon energy, we will be faced with how we speak and what we say and what we're sharing with the world through our voice and words. But it's also important to note that what is being said and expressed through the fifth chakra is a reflection of what is happening at your first chakra and vice versa, especially during this full moon. So for example, if your fifth chakra is spewing ugly and toxic thoughts and opinions, your large intestine is most likely stuffed full of accumulated fecal matter. Yes, full of poop, that is. What you express to the world is also affected by reabsorbed poisons from the colon, which results in many forms of illness and disease. So pay attention to this auto-intoxication from your own internal poisons and how they are being expressed through your fifth chakra during this upcoming full moon in Taurus. And if you can incorporate a short cleanse or detox practice around this full moon, that will be very helpful as well. Start with a full glass of purified water in the morning with a pinch of sea salt of your choice. I would highly recommend that you muscle test various sea salts that are out there and don't just do the pink Himalayan salt, because that may not be the best kind of salt for you, depending on your genetic types and ancestors and the state of your health. So do check that out at the store, or maybe have multiple different kinds of sea salt at home so you can muscle test yourself. You can also let the water, the drinking water, bathe in the moonlight overnight so you can take in the reflective light to further detox your whole system. First and foremost, I encourage you to take this time of the waxing moon leading up to the full moon to once again reclaim your sovereignty and integrity. Realign yourself to the central vertical axis. This is what connects the heaven and earth and keeps you balanced. And it's also important for you to reconnect and reclaim your own intuitive guidance and healthy boundaries during this full moon. A full moon occurs when the earth, sun, and moon are all in a line, and the earth is between the moon and sun. In other words, a full moon is the lunar phase when the moon, representing the yin aspects of the universe, is illuminated, as well as the sun's energy, the yang aspects of the cosmos, is shining and on full display. And us on earth can feel both of these energies fully. So the full moon is when you are truly faced with what is being reflected inside you and what influences that reflection. It's important to distinguish and discern the source of that light and what is generating that light you are reflecting within you. Full moon is the time to pay attention, to be responsible for what you allow into your consciousness and what you illuminate back to the world. So this is not the time to spiritually fall asleep and become the walking dead. You're responsible for the level of consciousness you bring to the world. And this level is what determines the degree of light, love, abundance, and healing you summon to your life on Earth. So this full moon is also an incredibly important reset and integration period, but also important to remember that every full moon is actually a very vulnerable period of the lunar cycle. If you are not clearly standing in your center and you're not conscious of what you are illuminating and being shown, you can easily lose your footing and focus and be manipulated by external influences and lose connection with your vertical axis and therefore your balance. This vulnerability is why the energy leading up to the full moon can be tough on our bodies as well. Parasites have been known to proliferate and gain strength and control your cravings. So if you're starting to have like sugar cravings, carbs, you just want to eat pastas and breads, these cravings are not just only coming from you, but these external influences that have occupied your internal body can be playing a huge role in your decision making here. And this is when we can struggle with dysbiosis in the gut and even extreme mood swings and physical vulnerability that creates further disharmony. You can become like Swiss cheese energetically and physically during the full moon. So we become full of holes. And in my practice, I see more people getting thrown off of their vertical axis of the heaven and earth, your own inner vertical axis during the waxing moon leading up to the full moon because of the many external influences, whether it may be parasites, fungus, yeast, social media, or even news. So be aware of these tendencies as you navigate each lunar cycle. There's a Sufi saying that, quote, when you're still fragmented, what difference does it make what your decisions are? Unquote. Meaning you can't really discern or collect your thoughts and follow your intuitive guidance if you are uncentered, unbalanced, and pulled in all different directions. This is why I appreciate this particular full moon that we're going to have on November 15th, because it summons us to illuminate and face our own internal fragmentation. And it summons us to look at where we have breached our own integrity and where we have allowed the infiltration of external fears and opinions. During this waxing moon leading up to the last super full moon of 2024, don't be afraid to reveal more of the yuck and muck that we have unknowingly and knowingly accumulated recently. With this full moon, we can tap into the energy of Taurus and its earthly qualities that will ground you and get you rooted and stable again, and participate in this beautiful opportunity to shine the light within yourself that normally doesn't ever see any illumination from the sun's light. So don't be afraid to let your dark places be illuminated so you can clean up some of the corners of your being where dust bunnies of divisiveness have been accumulating, and reclaim your sovereignty and the right to occupy yourself as a whole. Stay tuned about my upcoming live call where I hope to have a deeper soul level conversation with you. I will be emailing you in the coming weeks. Let's honor the multidimensional being that we are, and that our souls chose to be here at this time to experience and explore all dimensions of life on Earth through this physical body. So I hope this video will help you navigate this coming week of the waxing moon into the full moon and into the weekend of the full moon energy. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and give me a thumbs up. I would also welcome your thoughts and comments, and I look forward to reading them and responding to them as well. Thank you so much. Keep shining your light inwardly as well as externally. Namaste to all of you.